Assalamu alaikum class. How are you people? I think your grooming, your learning process is very rapidly. And online learning is now coming to you as an effective mode of teaching learning. Today our topic is distance learning. We define distance learning as a way of learning remotely without being in regular face to face contact with a teacher in the classroom. Distance learning is a field of education that focuses on teaching methods and technology with the aim of delivering teaching often on an individual basis to students who are not physically present in a traditional educational setting such as classroom. It has been described as a process to create and provide access to learning when the source of information and the learners are separated by time and distance or both. Its significance: the term distance learning represents approaches that focus on opening access to education and training, freeing learners from the constraint of time and place. It offers flexible learning opportunities to individual and group learners. This is the most rapidly growing segment of education. The potential impact of distance learning on all education has been emphasized by the development of internet based technologies, particularly the World Wide Web. It can be described as learning involving implementation of information, computing, and communications technology applications in more than one location. Distance learning is a contributing force to social and economic development. It is fast becoming an essential part of the mainstream of educational systems in both developed and developing countries. The globalization of distance learning provides many opportunities for countries for the realization of their education system wide goals. The growing needs for continual skills upgrading and retraining and the technological advances have led to an explosion of interest in distance learning. Distance learning, also called distance education, e learning, and online learning, form of education in which the main elements include physical separation of teachers and students during instruction and the use of various technologies to facilitate student teacher and student student communication. Distance learning traditionally has focused on non traditional students such as full time workers, military personnel, and non residents or individuals in remote regions who are unable to attend classroom lectures. Now we discuss the history of distance learning. One of the earliest attempts was advertised in 1728. There was in the Boston Gazette for Caleb Phillips, teacher of the new method of shorthand, who sought students who wanted to learn through weekly mailed lessons. The first distance education course in the modern sense was provided by Sir Isaac Pitman in the 1840s, who taught a system of shorthand by mailing texts transcribed into shorthand on postcards and receiving transcriptions from his students in return for correction. The element of student feedback was a crucial innovation of Pitman's system. This scheme was made possible by the introduction of uniform postage rates across England in 1840. The early beginning proved extremely successful, and the Phonographic Correspondence Society was founded 3 years later to establish these courses on a more formal basis. The society paved the way for the later formation of Sir Isaac Pitman colleges across the country. The first correspondence school in the United States was the Society to Encourage Studies at Home, which was founded in 1873. Now we come to the different types of distance learning. Distance learning is of many kinds. Some of them we will discuss in our lecture. The first is synchronous distance learning. The second, asynchronous distance learning. Third, hybrid learning. Fourth, electronic learning. Next, fixed time online classes. Next, correspondence learning. And next, open schedule online classes. The synchronous distance learning, as we all know, synchronous means at the same time. In this context, it is learning that involve live communication through either chatting online, sitting in a classroom, or even teleconferencing. It is one of the most acclaimed distance learning types that are most suitable for engaging in continuing education programs. Besides that, synchronous learning is preferable for degree programs that draw attention to communication, such as counseling psychology, nursing, general education, and general psychology. Second, asynchronous distance learning. Again, asynchronous typically means not at the same time. This does not require the physical presence of a student in class or university boundary. In this regard, it is a type of learning that has a strict set of deadlines, often a weekly time limits. However, it allows learners to learn at their own pace. It is also one of the most popular distance learning types because students can communicate with each other seamlessly through online notice, bulletin boards, programs, and courses with plenty of project and assignment work drive well in this format because it provides learner with enough duration to focus on the assigned work. Some of the regular degree programs offered by many institutions through the above distance learning type include marketing, legal assistant, advertising, healthcare, administration, and much more. Third one is hybrid distance learning. As the name suggests, hybrid distance learning combines asynchronous and synchronous learning to form a structure where learners are required to meet at a particular time in an internet chat room or a classroom. With this platform, though students are required to complete their work at their own pace, hybrid courses are often offered when learning institutions lack enough space to accommodate all their program course loads. Next, electronic learning. Electronic learning is one of the most popular distance learning types, often known as e learning, which enables learners to access course materials on a computer, DVDs, CDs, and different computer based tools are always used to deliver electronic learning courses. Example of such kind of learning is Virtual University Pakistan. It offers many bachelor and master courses. It also offers masters of philosophy in many subjects and in almost all over the Pakistan. It is the very first e-learning university working in Pakistan. Next, fixed time online courses. The most common type of distance learning today is fixed time courses. As the title states, these courses are strictly online, but students are required to log in to their online learning site at a specific time. Although they are completely online, the format remains synchronous because mandatory live chats are often required. Number 6, correspondence distance learning. Traditionally, this usually involved correspondence courses wherein the student corresponded with the school via post. Today, it involves online education. A distance learning program can be completely distance learning or a combination of distance learning and traditional classroom instructions. And the last, open schedule online courses. With open schedule online courses, students are allotted the greatest amount of freedom. This is asynchronous form of learning in which students are provided internet-based textbooks, mailing lists, email, and bulletin boards to complete their coursework. At the beginning of classes, the student is provided a set of deadlines but is allowed to work at their own pace as long as the work is turned in by the deadline. This type of learning is great for students who work well independently and those who do not procrastinate. Up till now, we discussed different types of distance learning. I again repeat the types. One is synchronous distance learning. Second, asynchronous distance learning. Third, hybrid learning. Next, electronic learning. Next, fixed time online classes. Next, correspondence learning. And the last, open scheduled online classes. After going through all the types of distance learning, now we will discuss some advantages and disadvantages of distance learning. The first is the advantages of distance learning. And advantages of distance learning will be discussed under greater flexibility, no commuting, significant cost saving, and convenient learning. Greater flexibility means with distance learning programs, student can pursue and complete their desired courses from anywhere with the use of computer and internet connection. A larger percentage of those that enroll for distance education are actually persons who are working. Distance education allows such students to find convenient time to study without interfering with their already busy schedules. One can study after work, in the middle of the night, or during weekends. Learning materials and instructions can actually be obtained online at any time. So, working students can learn as they earn. The second was non-commuting. Distance learning takes place online, which means students do not need to spend money and time commuting to and from class venues. Students can take lessons and complete assignments from the comfort of their home. Most institutions that offer distance learning programs deliver lectures and tutorials through online videos and video conferencing. That means students do not have to be stuck to classroom. One can actually enjoy class sessions from the comfort of their living room's couch, bedrooms, couch, or gardens. Video conferencing solutions like as Talks Cloud Meeting offer innovate whiteboards and screens, file sharing options that make classes more interactive. Its full HD video and audio experience duplicates the real life class scenario that makes online lectures more meaningful. Significant cost saving. The most online based education is generally lower compared to those offered in brick and mortar institutions. Undertaking an online course or program also eliminates the costs associated with commuting, renting an apartment, and or getting meal plans. That means distance learning an economically viable option for both students and parents. Apart from the convenience of pursuing a course from home, students will have a perfect opportunity to save more on their studies. The last, convenient learning. For most of the working class students, going back to the classroom is rather intimidating. Asking questions about a hard concept about a given topic can also be embracing for shy students. But that's not the case with distance learning. A disciplined and self motivated student can learn at his or her own pace. Online education combines the use of tutorials, e learning, materials, and video conferencing classes, class sessions to deliver knowledge to the students. That means learners with different abilities can have the opportunity to understand the course in much detail. Now we will discuss some of the disadvantages of distance learning, and these are: number one, lack of social interaction; number two, high chances of distraction; number three, complicated technology; and number four, questionable credibility of online degree. First is lack of social interaction. Learning in a brick and mortar institution presents students with the opportunity to meet and interact with people from different locations on a personal level. Distance learning only limits students to classes and learning materials that are based online. Though students can interact through chat rooms, discussion boards, emails, and video conferencing software, the experience cannot be compared to that of a traditional campus. Number two, high chances of distraction. With no face to face interaction with instructors and other students, those who are enrolled on an online program might find it hard to keep track of their course. Work and assignments That's because there are no constant reminders about pending assignments and or deadlines. It only requires one to be self motivated and focused to be able to complete a course successfully. Hence, distance learning cannot be a good option for students who keep procrastinating things or those who are not able to stick the deadlines. Number 3, complicated technology. Any student seeking to enroll for a distance learning program needs to invest in a range of equipment including computer, webcam, and stable internet connection. There is absolutely no physical contact between students and instructors as instruction is delivered over the internet. This overdependence on technology is a major drawback to distance learning. In case of any software or hardware malfunction, the class session will come to a standstill, something that can interrupt the learning process. Moreover, the complicated nature of the technology used in distance learning only limits online education to students who are computer and tech savvy. The last but not the least disadvantage of distance learning is questionable credibility of online degrees. Despite its convenience and affordability, distance learning is still not the best option for many due to lack of quality faculty members. Even when the instructors are fully qualified and experienced, they might not find it comfortable to teach in an online environment. The design and delivery of every course differs greatly. Sometimes the instructor might find little time to talk about trivial details of a given topic, which are otherwise important to helping students understand better a given concept. That plus a host of other challenges like lack of proper assessment make credibility of distance learning degrees questionable. As a matter of fact, there are many employers out there who do not accept online degrees as they still find stigma attached to distance education. That means students have to evaluate whether or not their online degrees can be ideal for the target job or future learning. This discourages many students from undertaking a distance learning program even when the degree being offered is genuine and competitive in the market. Despite its numerous drawbacks, distance learning still provides better learning options for students wishing to enjoy greater convenience and flexibility in pursuing a course. The greatest benefit of distance education are that it allows students to access numerous learning tools using minimum financial resources. Studying online is even made more interactive with the use of video conferencing software that improves the ability to acquire and retain the knowledge on a given subject. However, distance education limits social interaction, involves use of complex technologies, and has a negative perception among some employers. Any student wishing to enroll for distance learning diploma or degree should weigh between its pros and cons to determine whether or not it's a good option. Generally, distance education can be the perfect option for working students. This is all for today. There have been a comprehensive discussion about the categories of distance learning, about the advantages and disadvantages, and the definitions. But still, if you have any question, any query, your questions and queries and suggestions will be welcomed in the discussion session. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.